The Okellos were the envy of everyone in Lagos. Grace and Peter had it all: wealth, success, and a picture-perfect family. But behind the elegant facade, cracks were forming. Cracks no one could see but their teenage daughter, Anita. Anita had always been close to her father, but lately Peter had changed. He worked late almost every night, missed family dinners, and seemed distracted even when he was home. Anita noticed the way her mother's smile faded when Peter brushed past her without so much as a word. Something was wrong, and Anita was determined to find out what. One evening, while looking for her charger in Peter's study, Anita found something strange. A second phone was hidden in a drawer, wrapped in a scarf. Curious, she turned it on. Her heart raced as she read the messages. They were from a woman named Stacy. The texts were playful, intimate, and full of plans for secret meetings. Anita's hands trembled as she put the phone back. That night, she confronted Peter. "Dad, who is Stacy?" she asked, holding her breath. Peter's face froze, but only for a second. He forced a laugh. "She's just a business associate. Nothing to worry about." But Anita wasn't convinced. The messages didn't sound like business. The following day, she went to her mother. "Mom, I found something," Anita said hesitantly. She told Grace about the phone and the messages. Grace's face hardened. "Anita, you're mistaken. Your father would never do such a thing," she said firmly. Anita wanted to argue, but she saw the pain in her mother's eyes. She dropped the subject. For now. Peter was living a double life. Years ago, during a business trip to Nairobi, he had an affair with Stacy. It was supposed to be a fleeting mistake, something he could leave behind. But now Stacy was back, claiming her young son was Peter's. She wanted financial support, or she would expose everything. Peter was terrified. If Grace found out, his perfect life would crumble. He started sending money to Stacy, hoping it would keep her quiet. But Stacy wanted more. She demanded time, attention, and acknowledgement for her son. Balancing the demands of his family and his secret life became impossible. Struggling to move abroad or advance your studies at a top university? Feeling lost or overwhelmed by the process? Let StudyGate Canada guide you. StudyGate Canada, created by my husband, a civil engineering master's graduate from the University of British Columbia, one of Canada's top universities, has already helped many others successfully move to Canada and the USA. Now it's your turn. This step-by-step course teaches you how to find scholarships, pick affordable schools, write winning application essays, and much more. It's one of the most complete guides to studying abroad in countries like Canada, the US, and Australia. And here's the best part. As a viewer, you get an exclusive 40% off with the code StudyGate40, plus free private mentorship after securing admission. Just click the link in the description to get started today. Big thanks to StudyGate Canada for sponsoring this segment. Don't miss this opportunity to make your study abroad dreams a reality. Peter's best friend, Daniel Onyango, saw him arguing with Stacy outside the hotel. Daniel confronted him later. "Peter, what is going on?" Daniel asked. Peter hesitated but eventually confessed. She's someone I used to know," Peter admitted. "She says the boy is mine. I'm trying to fix it without ruining my family." Daniel shook his head. "Secrets like this never stay hidden, Peter. You need to come clean." But Peter refused. He believed he could still control the situation. Peter's expression darkened. "I can't, Daniel. If Grace finds out, I'll lose everything." As weeks passed, Stacy's demands grew, and Peter felt cornered. One desperate night, he came up with a plan. He arranged to meet Stacy at an isolated location under the pretense of settling things once and for all. But Peter had a far darker intention. He carried a small vial of poison, intending to slip it into Stacy's drink. However, the meeting didn't go as planned. Suspicious of Peter's sudden urgency, she noticed his nervous demeanor and refused to drink anything he offered. Sensing danger, she threatened to call the police. In a panic, Peter grabbed her by the arm and a struggle ensued. However, Stacy managed to escape, running away into the night while shouting for help. Later that night, as Peter returned home, confident that he had scared Stacy enough to back off. If he ever heard from her again, he'd hire a professional, and this time there'd be no mistakes. One evening, during a lavish party at the Okellos mansion, the who's of who of Lagos society had gathered for the party of the year. Grace was the perfect hostess, and so was Peter. He smiled and interacted with his guests, oblivious of what the night had in store for him. Then Stacy walked in. The room fell silent as the stunning woman strode through the crowd, holding the hand of a small boy. She stopped in the center of the room and raised her voice. "Good evening, everyone," Stacy began. "I hate to interrupt, but I thought it was time you all met Peter's son." Gasps echoed through the hall. Grace's face turned pale, and Anita's heart pounded with fury. Peter froze, his world collapsing around him. But before anyone could react further, the police entered the mansion. Officers approached Peter and asked to speak with him in private. The room buzzed with whispers as Peter reluctantly stepped away. Moments later, he was led out in handcuffs. "Peter Okello, you're under arrest for attempted assault and endangerment," an officer announced. Grace's knees buckled, and Anita rushed to support her. The party dissolved in chaos as guests hurried to leave. Stacy smirked triumphantly before walking out with her son. The party ended in disaster. Guests whispered as they slipped away, eager to spread the scandal. Grace locked herself in the bedroom, refusing to see Peter. Anita packed her things and left for her aunt's house, vowing to never return. Peter's arrest and his infidelity dominated the news. His business partners pulled out of his deals, and he became a pariah in Lagos society. Grace filed for divorce. "I'll never forgive you for this," she told Peter. Daniel, disappointed in his friend, cut ties with him. "I warned you," Daniel said before walking away for good. Peter was left alone, the perfect life he had built reduced to ashes. Grace and Anita, though devastated, found strength in each other. They vowed to rebuild their lives, free from lies and betrayal. As for Peter, he finally learned the cost of deceit, but by then, it was too late to undo the damage.